एक तो environmental damage हुआ. Take another example. You all know fertilizer subsidy. Present condition number 1 is food subsidy और number 2 पे आ गया fertilizer subsidy. And in fertilizer subsidy also more than 50% of the subsidy is for a single fertilizer, that is urea. Geography says that the ratio between nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium should be 4:2:1. For good crop, for ideal nutrient balance in the soil, ratio should be 4:2:1. Now since subsidy is going more on urea side, it is imbalanced. On all India level, it is around 9, more than 8:2:1. In case of Punjab and Haryana, it is 62:19:1. So there is gross imbalance, and this gross imbalance is not impacting the productivity in Punjab and Haryana. In fact, the food grain production is shifting. So subsidy has to be properly targeted. One classification was your input and investment subsidy. Second subsidy is direct subsidy and indirect subsidy. Second is your direct and indirect subsidy. Now most of the subsidy is in the form of indirect subsidy. You are giving subsidy to the company and company is passing on this subsidy. Sorry, your point. You had asked, see, US has large reserve of shale oil and shale gas. Now, for cost of production of shale oil and shale gas is high because you have to fracture rock and sedimentary structure. And from these sedimentary structure, you have to get the shale gas. And when you take out the sedimentary rock and you warm it up, from that you get shale oil. Then you do refining. So shale oil and shale gas, they are costly to get as compared to your crude oil and natural gas. Saudi Arabia can produce oil and gas at as low rate as $2 to $3 per barrel. But for US, it cannot be less than say $20 or $30. I'm not an expert on that, but it is around something like that. That is one of the reasons why these countries, OPEC countries, they are also not loading their production. They want that if the price is reduced, the shale gas manufacturing will be put out because it will not be profitable for them. So once they are pushed out of the business, again they will raise the money, raise the price of oil. Second, Russia. All these geopolitics is there in oil. See, in last few years, the control of OPEC country over oil production has gone down. In last 15 years or last 2 decades, major oil discovery has occurred outside OPEC region. So even now, if they lower the production, they cannot control it because others have come into area. That is the point of it. That is why US is giving subsidy for sale. See, even we can give. For example, in India, there is a new source of energy called coal bed methane, CBM. We are trying to encourage, there is a thing called coal bed methane. In the coal mine area, beneath the coal block, the methane is there. We are trying to exploit coal bed methane. The reason being, we want to increase our energy security. Presently, we are importing 80% of our energy needs. So if you want to go into new area, you have to give subsidy. That is why US is giving subsidy to shale oil, and we can also say in future give subsidy to CBM. अभी ना oil का price कम है, it will increase one day. It had gone up to $1, $120 per barrel. So after 5 years again, if it increases, what we will do? So we have to maintain. We also need energy security. Like internal security, you have the concept of energy security. And there, at that point, we are weak. In long run, we have to increase. Now coming back to subsidy. Subsidy can be direct subsidy and indirect subsidy. Now most of the subsidy are in the form of indirect subsidy. Take the example of diesel or fertilizer. This subsidy is given to the oil marketing company or urea producing company. And then the company supplies it to a lower price to the end user. Now subsidy for diesel is given for what? This is given for agriculture and this is given for public transport. Subsidy, the rationale behind subsidy for diesel is It is used in agriculture process and it is used in transportation. But see, most of the vehicles which have come out, they are now working on diesel. Audi हो गया, BMW हो गया, SUV. So it is going into personal luxury. So subsidy should be properly targeted. Subsidy which was given for agriculture is going for the personal luxury. It is going into Audi, it is going into BMW or even say Swift. So the purpose of subsidy is defeated. Therefore, we are saying that there should be proper targeting of subsidy.
Sir, diesel की 100% deregulation हो गया या it's only a percentage?
See, deregulation हो चुका है, but if there is a sharp fluctuation, then again government can interfere. Now, petrol price is deregulated. Diesel price is still not fully deregulated. It is under government control. It will be increased or decreased in consultation with government. Petrol price has been decontrolled.
Diesel taxes on it. Sir, petrol was deregulated last year.
You are true, very true. Tax is there, so government is raising revenue from there. But despite that, it is also providing subsidy.
Sir, net the government is earning from diesel, right? So why is it called a subsidy?
See, tax is there. Tax is different thing. Tax is there on everything. See, take the case of income tax. If your income is more than 10 lakh, you will be in the 30% bracket. Lower ones up to 2.5 lakh, 0, 2.5 to 510. So that is the concept of taxation. You have to pay tax, and for that government has no liability for that.
So moreover, the tax earned from these things goes to state governments instead of the
See,
central government.
the division of revenue earned from taxes is decided by Finance Commission. Now we have 14 Finance Commission. So Finance Commission decides the sharing of revenue between state and union. Now almost all the taxes now they are shared between center and union. So whatever tax is there, the Finance Commission will give its decision, and a certain percentage, last time it was around 29.5 or something, that is transferred to the state. Take the example of Delhi. Say people are paying income tax over here. So out of the total income tax which is collected by the Delhi office, 29.5 or something is transferred to Delhi government as it's said. Okay. So now we are trying to shift from indirect subsidy to direct subsidy. And for direct subsidy, first requirement is all people should have a bank account.
Sir, in the case of diesel car, why will you term it as subsidy? A diesel car is more expensive than a petrol car.
See,
so at the end of the day, it gets banned. So why would you
see,
take it as
excise duty is higher on the diesel. Now people are saying that it should be further increased. Diesel cars are responsible for one thing, that is environmental pollution. But there is a thing called PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5. Particulate matter 2.5, the size of PM 2.5 is less than 2.5 micron. And maximum PM 2.5 emission is from diesel vehicles. So several of the economists have suggested that diesel vehicle inside the city should be discouraged. They say that either increase the price of diesel or increase the excise duty on diesel car. Government cannot increase the price of diesel. Why? Because it is also used in agriculture, so it has adopted the second route by increasing the excise duty on diesel car. That is why you find difference in petrol version and diesel version. Okay. Coming back to subsidy, now we are moving toward direct subsidy. For GBT, last time it was started by Manmohan Singh, but he stopped midway. Why? Because election was there. Now under Jan Dhan Yojana, every person is having a bank account. Almost all the families are now covered. Then in the next 6 to 1 year, government will force everybody to have a Aadhaar card. Solely everything will be linked to Aadhaar. So it can be now transferred through Aadhaar. See, you all know PDS system, public distribution system. Government's own documents say that there is 50% leakage in PDS. 50% of the food grain which is provided in PDS is sold by these PDS shopkeepers. Take the example of, let's take up PDS. Take take the example of migrant workers. See, migrant workers come under which BPL category? A migrant worker has moved from say UP, Chhattisgarh or MP say to Delhi, Punjab or Bangalore. Now his food grain, his allotment of food grain is taken by whom? That TDS shopkeeper. This labor has migrated, so he is not getting the TDS. That is why the thing government is proposing that you can have a choice, you can get the thing in cash or in kind. If you want food grain, you can have food grain. If you want cash, you can have cash in your account and you can purchase it anywhere. See, there are both pros and cons for that. If food subsidy में, if we give cash subsidy instead of food grain, people will say कि वो जाके देसी दारू लेगा पी के सो जाएगा. One aspect is that this can also happen. You have given him money, he will go, he will straightway purchase alcohol and he will consume. So this food grain which was provided not only for him but for his wife, his children, this will not reach him. This is one aspect. Government is saying that we will transfer this fund into the eldest member of the family. See, any policy will have plus and minus. But now government is moving toward DBT, direct benefit transfer. Slowly and slowly, more number of programs will come under this. First, they have started with gas. So from now onward, you will pay 800 rupee and the subsidy will be transferred into your account. You will pay the market price and subsidy will be transferred into account. Slowly this will be expanded. And now 2 days before, I think government has announced it will phase out urea subsidy in next 2 years. In next 2 years, urea subsidy will be phased out. They have announced. So several of the subsidies will be either phased out or rationalized or they will be transferred to DBT. Then coming to Reserve Bank of India, slightly about fiscal policy. Before going into Reserve Bank, let's take up manufacturing sector again. Now in the case of new manufacturing policy, see in India, most of the industry have come around the towns. Say Delhi is there, in surrounding there will be industries. There are few cities which you can call as industrial cities. There are very few cities which we can call industrial cities. So infrastructure will be less in this area. For developing industry required infrastructure, which Chinese have provided. Chinese have provided world-class infrastructure in their cities. Therefore, we are now moving toward the concept of industrial corridors. We are moving toward the concept of industrial corridors. These are the area of industrial corridors which will be set up along the transportation line. The first one that is coming up is Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, DMIC. Now this Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, this is being set up along the Western Dedicated Freight Corridor. Railway line especially for freight train which is starting from Dadri up to JNPT Mumbai. Okay, this is from this area Delhi to JNPT, and along this we are coming up with new industrial areas. Okay, along this DMIC, and the next is your Mumbai Bangalore Industrial Corridor. Okay, next budget by okay, last budget they have reference to Mumbai Bangalore Industrial Corridor. Third corridor is Bangalore Chennai Industrial Corridor, and then you have Chennai Vizag, or up to that will be extended up to Kolkata. ये industrial corridor और एक eastern corridor है that is starting from Amritsar up to Kolkata. So now all the industries will be set up along this industrial corridor rather than being set up in the periphery of the country. Another thing is, we are coming out with, now you have heard of thing called smart cities or industrial cities. Along these industrial corridors, we will be setting up new type of industrial cities. In fact, there are two types of industrial cities. One is investment region and other is investment area. Under the NIMZ, National Investment and Manufacturing Zone area, we will be setting up two types of industrial region. One is investment area up to 100 square kilometer, minimum area will be 100 square kilometer, and second will be investment region. The area will be 200 square kilometer. So you have new cities or new industrial area along these industrial corridors. Okay? One is investment region, minimum area will be 200 square kilometer, and second will be investment area, minimum area will be 100 square kilometer. These will be new industrial cities or new industrial clusters. Another thing, these investment area and these investment region, these will be corporate cities. These will not be municipal cities. These will be working as companies. ठीक है, ये जो शहर बस रहे हैं, these will be companies. They will be registered as company under the Companies Act. They will be acting as a company. The profit which they will earn from value addition and other things will be added back into it. For this purpose, government will be setting up SPV, special purpose vehicle for each of these. I will just show you this economic survey. So for each city, you will set up a special company type structure, which is called a special purpose vehicle. For each project, we will set up. Now see. Now see, this is the western dedicated freight corridor, along with your Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor. And here you have new cities like this. These dotted lines are the new cities which will be set up along these industrial corridors. And the purpose is to develop world-class infrastructure in these areas. So this is covering your NCR, Haryana, Rajasthan, and for that you require a lot of land. Now we have come out with this policy. Let's see how the policy is implemented. The major challenge will be land acquisition. How to acquire 200 square kilometer of an area. हमारे यहाँ 1 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर में इतना आदमी हो जाता है, population density is very high. So the major challenge for the government will be acquisition of land for these corporate cities. Now see, these will be developed on the concept of node-based development on investment region and investment area. ये देखो area 200 square kilometer and 100 square kilometer. In all, 24 manufacturing cities, IR and IA have been planned. In total, 24 cities have been planned along this area. Okay, 24 investment region and investment area. And in the western, this one, DMIC area, Japan is investing a lot of money. In this area, money is coming from Japan, so we are partnering with Japan for investment of this industrial cluster.
This is along DMIC.
This is along DMIC, Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. 24 industrial cities have been planned. So major problem will be land acquisition.
Till what time, till which year this will be completed?
हिंदुस्तान में इसका कोई गारंटी नहीं है. हिंदुस्तान में इसका कोई गारंटी नहीं है, कब होगा ये पता नहीं. ठीक है. अब देखो यहाँ पर, देखिए यहाँ पर the DMIC is being developed by Government of India with a view of Western Freight Corridor And DMIC was conceived by Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan and Ministry of Commerce of Industry. So Japan came out with this concept. Later we are expanding it to other areas also. We began with DMIC and slowly we have expanded this concept to other areas also. Mumbai, Bangalore Industrial Corridor, Bangalore Chennai Industrial Corridor. Why? Because in urban area land and other things are lacking, so you cannot develop infrastructure or world-class manufacturing. See, in fact, Jamshedpur is the only industrial city. If you put in terms of industrial city, you have only one industrial city, that is Jamshedpur, or to some extent Bokaro and Bhilai. Industry came over there, and to serve that industry, city came around those factories. बाकी दो उल्टा हुआ, शहर बस गया, city came first, and around that city you have small units. So infrastructure will always be problem. ठीक है? So here, urban governance, this point.
So can you increase the pot size?
Sure. ये कट रहा है यार. सही छोटा कर दे. अच्छा तो आपने इसको bear with me. Then come to urban governance. See here. The SPV are to be companies. This line. The SPV are to be companies under the Companies Act. The valuation increase from urbanization and development will accrue to the city level SPV and will be reinvested in the cities. Okay? So these will be acting as corporate entities. So these will not be a municipal city ki chunav hoga, nara hoga, it will be only a corporate entity, will be serving industry and it will be asking for user charge. Get the world class infrastructure and pay us. Okay? You are collaborating with Singapore and other countries for this industrial cities, how to develop, how to go about that. Now major challenge is land acquisition. Recently they have made change in, that is why Modi government came with ordinancing land reform. प्रोजेक्ट को स्पीड करने का पहला रिक्वायरमेंट है लैंड. इनफैक्ट जब ये मित्तल भाग रहा था वापस, when Mittal ArcelorMittal was going back, he gave a proposal to your sale that Bokaro steel plant has lot of land, so please give us land and be a partner in the project. They thought that it will take 7 or 8 years to acquire the land. It's better to have a partnership with SAIL and start the project immediately. Okay. So hope this turns positive for India and this will help India in that we make in India. नारा तभी सही होगा जब आपका land acquire हो जाएगा and when the city will start functioning. Hope in next 5 years Modi could do that. And another problem is how to compensate the people, make them a partner in the progress. 200 square kilometer area जाएगा तो you can, आप as a policy planner, as a bureaucrat भी सोचो, if you are over there, you have to acquire land of farmers and people who are living in 200 square kilometers. So how to compensate them? How to give them employment or at least some form of job in these coming industrial area? That will be a major challenge for the government. Okay, Australia you can do things easily. Population density is very low. But India, that will be a challenge. Now coming to, see, basically there are two types of policy. One is monetary policy and one is... See, law and order will always be with police. No, state government. Even now you have SEZ. SEZ is considered to be an area outside the Indian Custom Union. From SEZ, you can, into SEZ you can import anything from outside and from here you can export anything outside. The basic purpose of SEZ was to reduce tax and other hassles, to make things easy for export promotion. लेकिन वो सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुआ SEZ, ठीक है, से SEZ में कोई मर्डर हो गया, somebody is killed in SEZ, then it will go to police. See, the normal function of law and order will be there. Other form of governance will be. अब देखो दूसरा चीज है, ये तो इमर्जिंग एरिया है. We do not know how things will turn out. See, this is a totally new concept. Let's see how things turn out. इसमें क्या होगा? There will be give and take. Center will be saying that give greater power to these cities. State क्या कहेगा? कि भाई मेरा हाथ ऊपर है. See, nobody wants to give out his power. When you started Panchayati Raj, DM did not transfer many of the powers to the panchayats. So here there will be functional problem. What powers will the state government transfer to these cities? अब तो beginning है, आगे आगे देखिए क्या होता है.
Secondly, what exactly is the role of an SPV in setting up an agreement? I had heard it in ONGC. So when they were expecting.
See, for SPV it is for a particular project. It is owned by that company, but this is a company itself. Its share will be held by that parent body. For example, ONGC has set up a SPV for a project in say Tanzania. So this will be a separate company. The share of it will be owned by ONGC. For example, you want to raise money, you raise capital, you can raise for this SPV also separately. Take the example of insurance company. You have GIC, General Insurance Company, and you have other companies. So GIC is a holding company. GIC has the share of National Insurance, United Insurance, all these are held by. So it is SPV is like that, project specific. And for these you can raise fund from capital market, from loan and all those areas. Achha. Coming into Reserve Bank of India, see basically you have two policies. One is monetary policy which is regulated by RBI. Monetary policy is under control by RBI and another is fiscal policy. Fiscal policy refers to government earning and expenditure. जो budget है. Budget is your annual fiscal policy or annual financial statement. Now, coming into RBI, see in case of Reserve Bank, slightly about the governance of RBI is controlled by Central Board of Directors. There is one governor and 4 deputy governors. अभी जो structure है 1 governor and 4 deputy governors. There was a proposal to raise it to 5, but that was turned down by government, so I am not going into that. Nachiket More was Chief Operating Officer. It was proposed to create a new post of Chief Operating Officer, which was to be given back to Nachiket More. That was proposal from Raghuram Rajan, but government has turned down. The present RBI Act says that there can be only 4 deputy governors. ठीक है, इसलिए अभी वो उन्होंने turn down कर दिया. Let's see what happens in future. Now there are various functions of Reserve Bank. Okay, in Reserve Bank had certain subsidiaries. One is Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation, DICGC. So all your accounts are insured up to 1 lakh. Even the bank goes bankrupt, all the housing finance company will be regulated separately by NHB, National Housing Bank. ठीक है, वो housing finance को देखता है. For example, now Modi government has announced that we will build house for everybody. So how this will be implemented? What is the method of implementation of these things? See, NHB acts as your premier agency or apex agency for housing sector. So fund will be given to National Housing Bank. Now what NHB does, NHB provides refinance. For example, say I am a poor fellow, I will go to bank will provide me loan at a very subsidized rate. Say 50% subsidy दे दिया, 50% loan पे I am giving an interest of 4%. Now bank has given me. Now this 50% subsidy and this interest lowering of 6 or 7% is given back to the bank by NHB, National Housing Bank. National Housing Bank has 2 things. One is Urban Housing Fund, another is Rural Housing Fund. NHB it has 2 funds. One fund is Rural Housing Fund and Urban Housing Fund. every year government announces certain amount of money, and that money goes into these funds. With this money, rural housing and urban housing will be encouraged. Okay. So if you want to expand housing sector, we will again provide fund to them. And NHB is coming out with very interesting thing called Residex. Residex. You have heard of wholesale price index, you have heard of consumer price index. Third pricing index in India is Residex. Residex gives the increase in price of residential and commercial property. Residex जो है residential and commercial property का increase दिखाता है कि how much it is increasing. ठीक है? It is issued by your National Housing Bank quarterly. अच्छा. Now coming to function of RBI, the first function of RBI is issue of currency notes. You all know. Now we have one thing called minimum reserve system. Under that, RBI has to maintain a reserve of 200 crore, and after that it can issue any amount of currency. Out of 200 crore, 115 crore will be gold and 85 crore will be foreign currency. ठीक है? But RBI has maintained large amount of gold. अभी जो आपका RBI का gold reserve है, that is around more than 550 tons of gold, and it is over 1,25,000 crore. So most of the central banks maintain huge reserve of gold. Gold helps in gold helps in manipulating the international